Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry about that, hitting the wrong buttons here. What is happening, everybody? Friday, October 24th, 2025. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. Stephen A. Smith has lost his ever-loving mind. Stephen A. Smith shows that Trump derangement syndrome, while not constant, sometimes there will be flare-ups. A lot like herpes. It usually pops up at the most inopportune times. Of course, I read that in a book somewhere. Naturally. I'm only kidding, obviously. But no, Trump derangement syndrome is, of course, like herpes. It will pop up at the strangest times. Look, I've used Stephen A. Smith's content a lot on this show. However, the Trump derangement syndrome that he showed yesterday on his show, on two different shows, is actually impressive. The fact that he is able to put his boots on in the morning without suffering is actually quite staggering. Also, little nugget. You know that guy? You know that guy that killed 3 people, that illegal immigrant who got a driver's license to drive a semi-truck? Yeah, it turns out he failed his road test 10 times. 10 times prior to the incident in question. Also, Lori Lightfoot calls for the doxing of ICE officers. Texas Democrats want to cut your throat, and some people are beginning to not get paid. But before we get started, guys, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We rock, we roll here. Giddy up, let's go. Let's pop the live chat up on the screen. Say hello to everybody. Hope everybody's having a lovely Friday. Lovely Friday. Giddy up, let's go. Also, for my New Jersey crew, for all my friends out in New Jersey, tomorrow morning I will be in Paramus, New Jersey with Scott Pressler, with Jack Chittarelli. Make sure you follow all the social medias for all the updates on that massive Get Out the Vote effort. Early voting starts everywhere. Well, in New Jersey and New York starts tomorrow. Make a plan, get out, vote early. Let's go. Giddy up. I'm jacked. It's time for action. Get off your ass and get involved. Ass off couch, involved. We are now at crunch time of election season. It doesn't matter where you live. Something is happening. If you need help getting involved, message me, and I will put you in touch with the proper activist. It's election season. It's not election season. It's like election week. Now, we are in crunch time. Get up and go. Are you, later, after all the shows are done, up off the couch, get on the phones, giddy up, let's go. Not hard. Let's go. I'm jacked. What's up, Dawn? I'll see you in Jersey tomorrow. Anyone else in New Jersey? Anybody else in New Jersey going to be coming out tomorrow? You're going to see me. You're going to see Mike Crispy. Mike Crispy will be there all day, baby. We're basically going to be touring all of North Jersey, which is not something I would do unless I was asked by Scott Pressler, because now I have to dodge and dip and get out the way, and I gotta fight the George Washington Bridge traffic, the worst place on planet Earth. Someone is wearing Mustang Gambler, wearing my Loud Majority shorts today. I'm like, I like that you live in a place where you can wear shorts today. It's getting a bit chilly. CC Jack, hey, if you like this hat, you can pick it up at loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter over there. Check out our shop. That is the best way to support this show and everything we've got going on. I need some help paying the tolls tomorrow, because in order for me to get out and help in Paramus and Hudson and Bergen, I'm not really sure those all might be the same places. I don't know how New Jersey works. You guys can't make left turns. I don't know why. In order for me to do that, I have to pay like $87 in tolls. So head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Kit Kat Mar, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Oh, yeah, we are rocked, we are rolling. Let's dive right on in, because Stephen A. Smith has lost his ever-loving mind. Yesterday on the show, we discussed a giant scandal in which the Gambinos, the Lucchese's, the Genovese, and the Bonanno crime families have all engaged in a, I don't even know what you'd call it, point shaving, game fixing scandal with current and former NBA players. Now, if you are a sports commentator, the sports aspect of this is the number one priority, which would make total and complete sense. If you are a political commentator, the fact that Kash Patel is going after these people who are fixing games would be your top priority. But if you're a normal, everyday person, the fact that the FBI has begun going after the mafia again would be the top part of this scandal. Oh, we've got another interesting mafia story we're going to get to in just a little bit. But Stephen A., who recently has begun juggling politics with his, no doubt, illustrious sports career. I grew up watching Stephen A. Smith. I think he is one of the best sports commentators of all time. If there is a Mount Rushmore, Stephen A. is on it, no question. Not even close. Absolutely, one of the best of all time. However, his Trump derangement syndrome has hit an uncharted level, where now he sees Kash Patel taking down the mafia, because people are shaving points in the NBA, and according to him, it's Donald Trump's fault. You heard me say that correctly. I don't know if y'all have seen this clip yet, but let me tell you something. This is Trump derangement syndrome to the max. It is I have never seen, and I want to tell you something real quick. If anybody wants to watch something that's one of the funniest damn podcasts I've ever seen, you need to go watch Tim Pool's Culture War today. I mean that with every fiber of my being. Obviously, normally I wouldn't promote other shows unless I'm going to be on them. But you have to go watch Tim Pool's Culture War today as he eviscerates one of the dumbest people in the American political commentary landscape. It's not even worth saying his name, but he absolutely eviscerates him for 2 hours. It's absolutely majestic. Get your popcorn ready. But Stephen A. Smith thinks that the reason why Terry Rozier, whatever his name is, Chauncey Billups, got in bed with the Bonanno crime family was actually Trump's fault.
How many times, for one incident after another, have I said, Trump is coming? He's coming. I'm going to say it on national television again. Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden you hearing ICE is going to be there, looking to engage in mass deportations. The Super Bowl, disrupting things. Big night for the NBA. Wembanyama put on a show. That has now been smeared because we're talking about this story, okay? Remember, Trump has a long history connected to the world of sports because he had those casinos. Where do you think folks were coming half the time? I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about the culture. When people want to go to a casino, when people want to gamble, when people want to party, or whatever the case may be. This was his kind of connection to that. Why am I glad you're here, Monica? Because don't be surprised if the WNBA is next on his list. Mm-hmm. Because when you've got all of these protests that have been going out there and people that have been protesting against him and what have you, this man is coming. He's coming.
First off, Stephen A., before we get into the substance of that argument, I just have a question. What is the WNBA? I've never heard of that before. What is that? I'm unfamiliar. I don't know. I'm not really sure, if I'm being totally honest with you. I've never heard of the WNBA. Very odd. Very odd. But Stephen A. Smith says that it is Donald Trump's fault that Chauncey Billups was shaving points. That the Lucchese's infiltrated and got in with NBA players, and it's Donald Trump's fault. It is hard. I talk for a living. It is very hard for me to not have the words to describe what my ears just heard. So you had this NBA player, I think his name's Terry Rozier. I don't know. You had him apparently, word on the street is that he told his buddies to bet the under in every single one of his categories and then exited the game after 9 minutes, ensuring that he would be below whatever the betting average is. And Stephen A. thinks that's Trump's fault. Here's more of Stephen A.
You do not see something like this happen. Even when the scandal came down the pike involving Tim Donaghy, the former referee for the NBA, you didn't see the director of the FBI having a press conference about it. But that's what we saw this morning. And to me, it comes down to this.
All right, so hold on. We're going to get back to the rest of the clip. So I want to be clear about something. Stephen A. Smith thinks that because when Tim Donaghy, the referee who was betting on games, because when he got caught, you didn't see the director of the FBI come out and talk about it because Stephen A. didn't see that. That means that Donald Trump is now jumping on the, take down the NBA scandal because he didn't see it. I am without words. But let's get back to Stephen A. because this is wild.
You do not see something like this happen. Even when the scandal came down the pike involving Tim Donaghy, the former referee for the NBA, you didn't see the director of the FBI having a press conference about it. But that's what we saw this morning. And to me, it comes down to this. Trump is coming. He's coming. It's not hyperbolic. It's not hyperbole. I'm dead serious. He's coming for the National Football League. Why?
Do not come. Do not come.
Why you think this whole Bad Bunny thing and the Super Bowl halftime show is an issue? The NBA, and conveniently, this comes down the pike after opening night for the NBA season on ESPN. The veracity and the substance of the case itself, that has to be determined, and that has to bear out. And we have to keep our eyes and ears to the grind about that to decipher, how significant this is. But there's no question that it's serious. And if you're talking about an illegal gambling operation that was taking place, whether it be poker games or anything else, don't just look at the players. Look at who they're connected to. As a person who loves the NBA, who loves Adam Silver, who had love for David Stern, God rest his soul, who knows an abundance of people associated with the NBA, I know that there's no way, in my heart of hearts, I firmly believe, rather, there's no way they would be remotely associated with such a thing.
So let's be clear. Let's be clear. According to Stephen A. Smith, in his heart of hearts, deep right on in this area, he knows they would never be associated with that sort of thing. He knows that. Now, he doesn't know any of the evidence that Kash Patel has. He has no idea. But he knows it. Why? Because while, yes, if I'm being honest with you, I have showed Stephen A. Smith an awful lot on this show, sounding incredibly rational. Deep down, Stephen A. Smith is a racist. He is. He just is. He is. And he can't figure out why people would, because people are greedy, bro. That's why. People have greed in their hearts. That's it. This Rozier guy was making $100 million in his contract and still thought he had to make $60,000 on DraftKings. So don't sit there and tell me you can't figure this out, Stephen A. Don't tell me you can't figure it out. He's lost his mind. Like I said, Trump derangement syndrome, there are some people out there that it's constant. You can see it. It's direct, like leprosy. But then there's some people out there who have an acute form of Trump derangement syndrome, and it pops up like herpes. usually at the most inopportune times. I don't know if I've ever seen, and I mean this, in the Twitterverse, in the X world, whatever the hell it is you want to call it, I don't know if I've ever seen a person get roasted worse than Stephen A. Smith did in this exchange. Even for my New Yorkers, even Boomer and Gio were making fun of him, and they don't talk sports at all because of how absurd this is. What the hell does the American people being annoyed with Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl because he hates America have to do with Chauncey Billups, a guy who was okay like 20 years ago, shaving points? It has nothing to do with it. That is Trump derangement syndrome. To a T. Here was Kash Patel commenting on Stephen A.
Yeah, down the street. By the way, this was so wild. Stephen A. Smith, the sports commentator, suggested that this was revenge from the president for all the kind of left-wing activism of the NBA. Your response to that, 15 seconds.
I'm the FBI director. I decide which arrests to conduct and which not to conduct. That may be the single dumbest thing I've ever heard out of anyone in modern history, and I live most of my time in Washington, D.C. It's right up there with Adam Schiff. We arrest people for crimes.
And I agree with Cash. This is one of the most insane takes imaginable. Now, does this expose a bigger problem in the, whatever you want to call it, the influencer world? That Stephen A. Smith said this on ESPN. He didn't say it on his show, on his political show that he does. He said it on ESPN. Why did he say it on ESPN? He said it on ESPN because he was talking to his audience. He was telling his audience what they want to hear. And I'm sure if we lived 15, 20, 25 years ago where the internet didn't exist and there was going to be no pushback on what he said, I'm sure this statement would have went over very well with the audience. But because we live in this world now where when you say something asinine, you get called out for it, Stephen A's looking pretty stupid these days. Looking pretty dumb. And this is one of those things. And Stephen A doesn't really understand this because he's not in politics. And I know a lot of people have thrown his name around. Democrat 2028. Could he do it? Could he break the mold? Could he sort of wiggle in there as a more normal candidate? It's moments like that end that. I'll never mention Stephen A. Smith again in the context of running for president. Because what that showed me is that deep down, his irrationality, his inability. And look, I don't really care. If you like Trump, you don't like Trump, you love Trump, you hate Trump. I don't really care. That was one of the most insane things I've ever heard. So, should Kash Patel not have arrested members of La Cosa Nostra when he did? Because it coincided with the start of the NBA season. Is that what you're telling me, Stephen A? Should he have waited? What, to the trade deadline? When? When would it have been appropriate for Stephen A, that Donald Trump not even Donald, I bet you Donald Trump didn't even know this shit was happening. When would it have been appropriate for Kash Patel and the DOJ to arrest members of the Bonanno crime family for running illegal poker games in coordination with point shaving going on in the NBA? When would that have been appropriate? When? I'm confused. Speak to me like I'm a child, Stephen A. And it just bothers me. I know a lot of people in the comments talking about Stephen A. You stop watching ESPN because Stephen A. This and that. Look, he's a talent. He's unbelievable. He's a great sports commentator. He's definitely a racist, but he's a great sports commentator. No doubt. No doubt. But this was a level of asinine. I got nothing. It's actually funny to me. It's actually funny. I don't know if you can tell. Ha ha ha. But I'm laughing. Come on, Stephen A. Do better. Do better. We're going to move on, guys, because we're going to talk about illegal immigrants getting the CDLs and mowing people down in the street. Before we get to that, here's Jeremy.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Well, it's that time of year again, isn't it? My favorite time of year. Fall. Oh, I love the leaves. I love the autumn smell. I love the pumpkins. I love it all right before the snow flies. But what I don't love that comes with the cold weather and the fall weather is the flu, are the sniffles, the cold. All those common cold sniffles that you get every year. And if you have kids in the house, little kids going to and fro school, and they're coming back and they're touching everything and they're bringing the bacteria and all those viruses home from school, you don't want anything to do with that. You want to be proactive rather than reactive. That's why we're going to talk about propolis today. You know what propolis is? Well, ladies and gentlemen, propolis is what works as a barrier to keep the beehive absolutely safe. And what am I talking about? Well, Beekeepers Naturals. Now, my wife really turned me on to this. This is an endorsement of my wife and then myself as well. Beekeepers Naturals, folks, that is exactly what this is. This is a proactive rather than a reactive, all natural, all clean alternative to big food and big pharma. You've got your Beekeepers vitamin C packs, which are perfect for on the go, right? You've got your Beekeepers Propolis nasal spray. A few shots up the nose, clears out your nostrils, cleans any congestion that you have, and it's all natural, and it's going to work as a proactive barrier to any of that unwanted bacteria getting in. How about the Beekeepers All Natural Propolis Immune Throat Spray? 3 or 4 pumps of that a day, and anything that you're breathing in is going to be either repelled or killed right away. That's the amazing thing about propolis, and that is the amazing thing about Beekeepers Naturals. And I got a 20% discount for you. What's better than that? 20% discount. Look, you can even get the throat soothing pops and the kids prebiotic fiber pops along with the throat spray, along with the nasal spray, along with the vitamin C packs. Folks, they've got it all, and it's an all-natural, clean, beautiful option for you to have in order to, get away from the big food, get away from the big pharma, and go more natural, especially with a 20% discount. How can you not go to Beekeepers Naturals today /LFA and get your 20% discount? Clean out your medicine cabinet today with beekeepers.com /LFA. And now back to the show.
I forgot before we close out here. I remember at the beginning of the show when I said we had another mafia story that we had to get to. I don't know if to talk about the mafia that much. However, there have been new revelations about the mob, La Cosa Nostra, the families, as they call them. Well, it turns out that, I love this. This is so great. It turns out that what every New Yorker has known forever has been confirmed. That Al Sharpton was a rat for the feds. This might be my favorite story ever. Al Sharpton, Reverend Al. I don't know what he's a reverend of, but certainly not professing Jesus Christ, I can tell you that. Turns out, what we've always known all along, Reverend Al is a rat.
Reverend Al Sharpton has come clean about his secret past as a government informant. CBS 2's Dave Carlin tells us the activist admitted to helping the FBI bring down some of New York's most wanted.
I was not and am not a rat.
The Reverend Al Sharpton identified as confidential informant CI7, now admitting he wore
That's a rat. That's a rat, Reverend Al.
a wire for the FBI. He helped the government go after boxing promoter Don King, music executives, and mobsters, including Vincent the Chin Gigante, who famously wore his robe and pajamas in public.
I was cooperating.
Sources say that cooperation likely started after he was nabbed in a drug sting, caught on video. Helping the feds may have helped him. But Sharpton says he went to them because members of the mob wanted him dead.
They were threatening to kill me.
Sharpton is kicking off his National Action Network convention this week with headliners President Obama and Mayor de Blasio, who defended Sharpton.
I think he has done a lot of good for the city of New York and for this country.
Retired NYPD.
He's a rat. Ha ha. I love it. I love it. I'll be honest with you. That's an old news clip.
Reverend Al Sharpton has come clean.
Sorry, that's an old news clip. I just happened to see it. The other day and thought I'd share it with you. Why? Because I don't like Al Sharpton and I don't like rats. And, well, I'm not a rat. I was just a confidential informant. That's a rat, bro. You wore a wire. You wore a wire for the feds. That's a rat. Just saying. Guys, before we keep rocking and rolling here, we got about half the show left. We got some big news, an illegal theft ring going on in Florida. Go figure, all Colombian. Also, illegal immigrants continue to mow down Americans all over the place. Driving semi-trucks. Maybe we shouldn't give them licenses. I don't know. Just a thought. Something to think about. And Jack Chittarelli, baby. Jack Chittarelli. Giddy up, let's go. 4 years ago, nobody could say his name. And soon, they're not going to have to learn how to say his name because they're going to be calling him governor. Before we get to that, Old Glory Bank.
When big banks decide who gets access to America's financial systems and who doesn't, who do you think gets left out? Middle Americans who proudly wave their pro-America values. Cancel culture in banking is corrosive. It limits your participation in a vibrant, free market economy. Fortunately, you can fight back. You now have the opportunity to invest in the bank that's investing in a fair American banking system, one based in freedom. Ownership in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank, is here. Old Glory Bank is a full-service FDIC-insured bank that's the alternative to overreaching, un-American big banks. We stand for privacy, security, and liberty. We stand for freedom, family, faith, and the flag. We stand for all the values you stand for, and for the values big banks can't stand. So help keep banking in the hands of Main Street, not Wall Street. To invest in Old Glory Bank, go to oldglorybank.com.
Guys, head on over to oldglorybank.com. That's oldglorybank.com. The long-time supporters of this show, guys. Head on over to oldglorybank.com. So, well, both sides. Let's talk about both sides. Political violence. Let's talk about it because apparently Democrats are so comfortable with violence that there's a Texas Democrat out there running for Congress who thought it was acceptable to go on CNN and talk about cutting her opponent's throats.
Work. I'm from the hood, okay? So when a bully comes, like, if there are no rules, you literally have to figure it out. So Donald Trump has changed things, and people trying to do what's always been done is not going to work. And I think that's why Democrats are losing black people. That's why they're losing poor people, because poor people, all they want is for us to fight. So if you hit me in my face, I'm not going to punch you back in your face. I'm going to go across your neck, because we can go back and forth fighting in each other's faces. You've got to hit hard enough where they won't come back. And so, yeah, for the same way I went to New York and spoke with Governor Kathy Hochul and said, if they're going to try to wipe us out in Texas, we need to wipe out every Republican in New York, in California, in Illinois. So no one can make me feel bad about fighting for the people that I represent.
Well, it turns out, let's break down a couple of things. First off, you fucking lunatic. You want to come to New York and wipe out every Republican? Start with me, Jolanda Jones. Start with me and see how that goes. Number two, though, and more importantly, I genuinely think it's funny that she thinks that the way to win back black people and poor people is to act like a thug. A violent thug. That's how you want to win back people? That shows how little you think about your own people. And I don't know what her, I think it's Erin Burnett. She just sat there saying nothing. She wants to take out Republicans right across their neck. And I'm sorry I said a naughty word there. However, I can think of one Republican who got taken out across his neck about 6 weeks ago. So maybe Jolanda, which isn't a name, Jolanda Jones. Maybe you better choose her words a little bit more carefully. And if you want to come to New York and you want to wipe out every Republican, start with me, bitch. Start with me. And that'll be the clip that I cut today. Start with me. Let's see how that goes. These people have no shame. Both sides. Both sides. So let me get this straight. I want to be clear about this. In the last 2 days, both sides. In the last couple days, we'll say, you had a senator, a Senate candidate from Maine, who had to get a Nazi tattoo covered up on his chest, be defended by Democrats. But a bunch of group texts get leaked by guys in their 20s talking shit to each other, and I'm supposed to care? Both sides. Both sides. It's not both sides. It's not both sides. If it weren't for double standards, Democrats would have no standards at all. And I'm sorry, I'm not playing this stupid game. Because when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And I really, I don't know what district that woman is running in, but I will do everything I possibly can to stop her from winning it. Because the world does not need any more of her in any position of power. And no, I don't mean black women. I mean that black woman. So, clip that, Media Matters. Feel free. Oh, that's right. You haven't heard a lot from Media Matters in a while. It's almost like all of their USAID funding dried up. I don't know. I don't know. Something to think about. Something to think about. So, guys, we're going to move on because before I get a little bit more heated, once again, actually, let me pull it up real quick. For my New Jersey people, where are we at? Where's New Jersey at? Let me pop. Oh, holy crap. That is a big file. Thank you for sending me that giant file, Michael Casey. Let's see. Boom. Let's take that down. Put that back. Oh, no. Big again. Here we go, guys. Tomorrow. Bergen County, baby. Bergen County, New Jersey. Come meet me. Come meet the next governor of New Jersey. Come meet Mike Crispy and Scott Pressler. Giddy up. Let's go. Guys, it is time to get out. It is time to early vote, particularly if you... And I want to be clear, for my New York people, and there's a lot of New Yorkers watching this, why am I so dead set on Jack Ciattarelli? I'm going to tell you why. Because politics is about momentum. Politics is all about momentum. They said we couldn't win in Pennsylvania. We did. They said we couldn't win in New Jersey. We will. And next year, when they tell us that we can't win in New York, we will say a very special sentence that my paisans like. A little of that. And we're going to win that one, too. We're going to win that one, too. And Democrats are starting to figure out that I think we've got a little bit of momentum. And why do I say that? Well, it turns out more than a dozen New Jersey Democrats have come out and endorsed Jack Ciattarelli. And it's not because they had some sort of ideological swing or they really like Jack. It's because they can tell which way the tides are turning.
850,000 more registered Democrats and Republicans in New Jersey, but Ciattarelli has secured endorsements from local Democratic officials, including lifelong Democrat Anthony Veneri, a North Bergen commissioner and former chairman of the Hudson County Democrats.
Democrats aren't what they used to be. The Democratic Party is really going in the wrong direction, and I'm happy and proud to endorse Jack Ciattarelli because I think he's going to be the change. He's going to drive over a lot of Democratic people in the state of New Jersey, which is starting already.
More than 400,000 mail-in ballots have already been turned in drop boxes like this one behind me here in Hudson County. And in-person early voting begins tomorrow.
Begins tomorrow, baby. Big rally. Big rally, big rally, big rally. Out in, where the hell is it? Everywhere in New Jersey is the same to me. We are going to be at the Green Lounge. What the hell? Let me make this a little bit big. The Green Lounge in Paramus, baby. Come on out. It's going to be... I think the next rally we're going to do is... the next one is going to be in Hudson. No. In Hudson County. I think the governor of Puerto Rico is going to be there, which is pretty sweet. So, guys, wherever you live, make a plan. Get out and vote. Also, if you're on Long Island and you can't make it out there, come down. Smithtown Republican Party headquarters tomorrow. That's 54 Main Street in Kings Park from 10 to 12. Get out. Get active. It's going to be one hell of a time. Oh, yeah. We're going. But why? Why is all this happening? Well, it turns out that we are starting to get some more nuggets about the guy who decided that he was going to kill 3 people by being drunk behind the wheel, in case you're forgetting what I'm talking about.
Now take a look. This is exclusive dash cam video that is now the subject of several law enforcement investigations. Shows the moment a red semi-truck plowed into a number of vehicles on the westbound 10 freeway in Ontario just after 1 p.m. yesterday. The CHP told the LA Times the driver of this big rig is a 21-year-old man who is now under arrest on suspicion of driving under the influence of drugs. A total of 4 semis were involved and also 4 passenger vehicles, one of them exploding in flames. 3 people were killed and 4 others were taken to local hospitals. This horrific crash happened just east of the 15 freeway and shut down all westbound lanes for more than 12.
Yeah, you remember that guy? Yeah, it turns out, spoiler alert, he failed his road test 10 times. He failed his CDL test. This from Bill Malugin over at Fox News. A senior official at the Florida AG's office tells me, Bill, initial results of their investigation into Harjinder Singh, the Indian illegal immigrant truck driver who killed 3 people in a Florida crash in August, revealed that he failed his road test. Oh, no, wait. Is that? Bill has the wrong photo. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Do I have the wrong image up there? I do have the wrong image up there. No. See, I got it. Silly me. Silly Kevin. I'm a silly goose. I'm sorry. That was the wrong Indian truck driver that killed 3 people. The one who failed his CDL test was the guy who killed 3 people a few months ago. Oh, right. I'm sorry. I got the wrong one. I got the wrong guy. It was this guy. This illegal immigrant Indian guy who decided to make an illegal U-turn on the street. It was him who failed his driving test 10 times and killed 3 people. Do you see the median? Let me put that back up there. Do you see this median that this guy tried to turn through? Are you kidding me? Just making a random U-turn. No big deal. Are you kidding me right now? That guy, yep. Sorry, sorry, there's so many illegal immigrants from India running people over on the street that I got the wrong one. Oops. What are we going to do? Hey, what can you do, guys? Remember, if we didn't let illegal immigrants who failed their road test 10 times drive semi-trucks in America, then we might as well just give the Statue of Liberty back to the French. Illegal immigrant trucker failed his CDL test 10 times in 2 months, but Washington gave him a license. Anyway, that's right. The fatal crash that was caused by an illegal immigrant driver in Florida has now exploded into a multi-state scandal implicating Washington and California, and a private trucking school already under investigation for alleged widespread CDL fraud. Florida Attorney General confirmed that Harjinder Singh, the Indian national charged with killing 3 people in a Florida crash, failed his commercial driver's license test 10 times in 2 months in the state of Washington. The revelation comes as Florida expands its investigation into how sanctuary cities have issued CDLs to unqualified as well as illegal drivers in violation of federal law. As we continue this investigation into California, Washington, and Harjinder Singh, we learned that Singh failed the written test 10 times. And he took his behind-the-wheel driving course at a private CDL school in Washington. Right. Okay, yeah, sure. All right, a private school. I wonder how much that would cost him. According to reporting from Fox News' Bill Melugin, a senior official in the Florida AG's office confirmed that he failed the CDL test 10 times between March 10th and March 5 of 2023 and failed his air brake acknowledgement test twice. So he can't drive. Not like he's not legally allowed to drive, like he doesn't know how. So you know what we ought to do? How much is that? How much does a semi-truck weigh? So let's give him a 25,000-pound missile to send down the street and kill, like, a lot of people. In the most recent incident, that was the first one I showed, this one.
Now take a look. This is exclusive dash cam video.
In that one, that guy killed a high school basketball coach. But don't worry, Democrats, I can't imagine why some guy from New Jersey, some former head of the Democratic Party, might consider endorsing the Republican. I can't imagine why. Or could it be, in the state of Florida, a massive larceny scandal involving 5 Colombians?
Florida have broken up a migrant burglary ring. A group of illegal immigrants from Colombia dressed as maintenance workers were caught on a drone camera stealing from high-end houses. So now we know how it's happening. Dana Marie McNichol is live from Miami with more. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Dana. That's right. This Colombian crime ring was sophisticated. Fake uniforms, detailed maps of wealthy neighborhoods, even hidden cameras to track their victims. But little did they know the police was tracking them. Orange County deputies were tipped off, and they were ready with drone cameras to catch them in the act. You can see 2 men disguised as landscapers casing the backyard of this home in Orlando. They walked in with empty bags, but walked out 30 minutes later with thousands in stolen designer handbags and shoes.
Like the first time when I come to my house, when I saw the window break and my door open, and I feel like my heart jumped outside.
It was this hidden trail camera that helped them learn her patterns. Investigators say the suspects spent weeks watching the home, even dribbling a basketball in the neighborhood to blend in. Now, the suspects are on video crawling out of the home and then jumping into getaway cars. They thought they had gotten away with it, but the drone then tracked the group to their meetup spot. Officers moved in, the takedown all caught on camera. Now, 5 suspects now sit in jail, charged with burglary, grand theft, and criminal mischief. All 5 are Colombian nationals in the U.S. illegally with ICE detainers. And Dana, police reports show that this Colombian crime ring doesn't only span to this neighborhood, but many counties throughout Central Florida.
Look, I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm not even saying most of them are bad. Maybe, and look, we're getting the ability to do this in the great state of Florida, but maybe, just maybe, something to think about. If more states worked with us, we wouldn't get awful images of people being locked up in court cases. Maybe we wouldn't get that. Or, maybe if they didn't break into the country in the first place and then find a way to break into people's homes. Because, the real American dream is to steal handbags. But that wasn't enough for Beetlejuice. We all remember Beetlejuice. You guys remember Beetlejuice? She was the mayor of Chicago for a while. Yeah. She doesn't like the fact that we aren't allowing illegal Colombians to break into our homes. She doesn't like that. She also doesn't like the fact that we're very upset that illegal immigrants from India are killing people on our motorways. She doesn't like that. So what she wants to do is start doxing ICE agents. That's what Beetlejuice wants to do. Before we get to that, Mike Lindell.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD, for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. So Beetlejuice doesn't like the fact that we're complaining about all this stuff, and she doesn't like the fact that we're out there supporting ICE agents doing their job. She doesn't like that sort of stuff. So she has this plan.
We start the process of unmasking the agents.
Man! Chicago. I'm sorry, I had it. How did you elect that woman? How did you do that? I shouldn't make fun of the way people look. I really shouldn't. Because, we're all kind of goofy looking. But man, just strange. Here she is. Just I had to see it, so you had to see it too.
We start the process of unmasking the agents. Even though they're wearing masks, every single one of them has a towel.
You say unmasking, they're going to say you're going to dox them, and that's why threats against them are up.
They are on public property, out in the open. We have an absolute right under our Constitution to be able to document what's happening. Every single one of those agents, height, weight, hair color, they wear their vests in a particular way. They're wearing insignias. Even the masks that they wear, the shoes that they wear, the cars that they're driving. We have a right to compile that information and put together a profile of each of these agents that's alleged to have committed crime. This is not about doxing them. This is not about putting them in danger, and I'm sure we're going to hear that. But as residents of this city in the metropolitan area, we have a right to know who's doing what, and supposedly in our name, but we believe that they are committing crimes and it needs to be investigated, and then let a grand jury, let the prosecutor make a determination.
Are you saying you're going to compile this information and then take legal action, civil action?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to compile the information, and hopefully it's going to compel local law enforcement, the state's attorney, and others to do their jobs and investigate the allegations of serious crimes being committed.
Guys, I'm not sure if you truly grasp what that woman just said. She wants local Chicago police to begin arresting federal agents. Where does that lead? What happens next? So you want states to begin arresting federal officers? While they're at it, should they, attack Fort Sumter? I don't know. Doesn't end well, though. I can tell you that. Doesn't end well at all, and the DOJ is taking this very seriously.
What the Congresswoman did yesterday, what the governor of Illinois said yesterday, does nothing but harm this country. You cannot touch federal agents when they're doing their job. And that's something that they know. It's something that we reminded them of last night, because if you do, you're committing a crime. And the amazing thing about what happened is yesterday, President Trump announced and formally launched the Homeland Security Task Force. This is, in our modern history, the single largest effort by law enforcement to combat narco-terrorists and to get the scourge and the drug dealers out of this country. In just 60 days, we've arrested over 3,200 drug dealers and either gotten them out of this country or put them in jail. On that same day, you have Pelosi, you have other congresswomen, you have a congressman from New York, and you have the governor of Illinois not praising that, not thanking President Trump, but saying that federal law enforcement agents should be arrested. That's the best example of the difference between what this administration is doing and what the Democrats want done. And it's sad, and I feel bad for our federal law enforcement and their families and their wives and their husbands and their children when their mom goes to work every day putting their life on their line, and they have governors and leaders in the Democrat Party suggesting they should be arrested.
He
didn't just say that.
I mean, I don't know where this ends next. I really don't. It's not going to end well. They're going to start arresting federal agents. Here's what's going to happen. They're going to arrest the federal agent. And then Trump's going to send in the feds. And then you're going to have a clash between the states and the federal government. And that's a civil war. It is. It's not going to be like the North and the South and a bunch of people lining up on the opposite side of a damn field shooting each other. Nobody's going to be loading up cannons. But if you have a state arrest a federal officer, and then the federal government responds with the feds, which they're going to have to do, you then have a conflict between the states and the federal government that cannot be resolved in the courts. That's a civil war. All because federal immigration officers are conducting their jobs. And people like that hideous Lori Lightfoot is unwilling to allow them to do so. That's a civil war. I don't want it to happen. I'm just saying that's what that is. That's what that is. Guys, we got about 5 minutes left, but we do have some breaking news. Real quick, Hakeem Jeffries has endorsed Zoran Mondani. Finally, now that he had to, he finally has decided to do so. Yeah, there goes that political career. There that goes. I got news for you, New York. The DSA is going to primary people all over New York City. Because people like Hakeem Jeffries are spineless. So, it's going to be wild. 2026 is going to be an absolute shit show. An absolute shit show all over the country. Ooh, Kash Patel just had a... When was that? Kash Patel just had a press conference about another big sting. Let's pop this up real quick.
What you see amassed in front of you is what happens when you let good cops be cops, when you let interagency, state and local police work together to rid our cities of the harmful plague of drug trafficking organizations and gang violence. And there's an important distinction to be made. Yesterday I was in the White House with the president for the Homeland Security Task Force. And while that lift is being done at the international level to wipe out drug trafficking organizations and gang violence, our urban cities, from Los Angeles to Philadelphia, New York, and everywhere in between, are being plagued by localized street gangs and gang violence and drug trafficking organizations. Once the drugs and guns come in, they need an outfit to deliver them to our communities. And we needed to attack those outfits. And the reason I wanted to come to Philadelphia today is because this takedown, brought to you by the men and women standing behind me and their wonderful teams, the Philadelphia Police Department, the FBI, and the United States Attorney's Office, are bringing to bear what law enforcement can do when you unleash them and let them go after the criminals that are destroying our communities, that are harming our civilization, and that are hurting our children. This Weymouth Street Gang is not just one instance of removing a couple of people. It is an example of how you remove an entire organization that is corrupting not just the city of Philadelphia, but the state of Pennsylvania as well. And I felt it extremely important to come in here and say, not only are we removing guns and gang members and robbers and firearms, we are removing an entire coordinated section of gang violence permanently off the streets. And that's how you deliver a victory for the people of Philadelphia, the people of Pennsylvania, and the people of America. I'm so proud and humbled to be joined here today by these wonderful representatives from the police force, from the FBI, and a shout out to the Department of Justice and our United States Attorney Metcalf here. You need courageous prosecutors to bring these cases. You need people that aren't going to say no, that are going to bend the knee, that are going to say, oh, it's too hard to bring this case. It's too difficult to collect the evidence. When you hear the details of this case, everyone in America should be looking at this takedown. This takedown is how you safeguard American cities from coast to coast. This takedown is an interagency process, years in the making. Extensive legal service and process was executed here, correctly done to make sure that the integrity of the investigation is upheld and the criminals are put into the legal system and brought before a judge and a jury, and they will have their rightful day in court. But the overarching importance of this case and this takedown is this is exactly how you safeguard American lives. You go after the organizations that are inflicting pain across America in each and every city. And this is my tenure as FBI director. This is one of the largest and most impressive gang takedowns that I have ever seen. So I felt it important to come here.
I want to be clear here, guys. Just to put this into perspective, yesterday, Kash Patel did a press conference in New York. He then flew back to Washington, D.C. for the Donald Trump crime roundtable. Now he's in Philadelphia. Remember when Kash Patel said that he was going to let good cops be cops, and he was actually going to put FBI agents all over the country doing their job instead of sitting in small rooms in Washington, D.C. with their thumbs up their ass? This is exactly what he meant. Kash is king, baby. Kash is king. Guys, it is 4 o'clock. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. I got Hannah Faulkner is calling me right now, so what the hell's going on with that? What in the hell is going on there? That's odd. Let's see what's going on with her. Make sure everything's okay. Yeah, guys, Hannah Faulkner's coming up next right here on LFA TV. Make sure you guys keep it locked in here at 4 p.m. Before we head out, guys, head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. Oh, Hannah's jumping in right now. I think she's coming up with a live press conference right now. I didn't even know one was happening. Yeah, guys, rumble.com/LFATV. I'll see you guys I'll see you in Jersey, or I'll see you tomorrow, Monday. Stay loud.